got a superstar today, Hugh.
Right. Well, I'm here, so that's, we've got another superstar.
Sorry, another superstar, a social influencer.
Ooh.
A copy aficionado, so I know you're going to be happy.
Mate.
She's going to be marking you all the way through this with your script writing.
Luckily enough, I've written the copy intro, so
we're very excited to have Vicky. She's been a big supporter of ours all the way through the podcast.
Vicky Ross.
So yeah, Vicky Ross will be here, and we're going to be talking all things copy, which is very exciting.
No,
for
it's
you.
good. She is. I can't wait to talk about Copy Safari, one of my favourite ideas I've ever heard of. So yeah, it's going to be great.
Let's do it.
Vicky Ross, copywriter extraordinaire. Welcome to Behind the Billboard. I've written some intro copy, right? I'm going to read.
You know, he's a copywriter, yeah.
This is when it gets awkward.
Not like no.
No, I'm going to judge it. I'm not going to look at you. I'm looking at Vicky to
Okay, little drum roll. Vicky has been writing copy for major global brands for 23 years. You know this. This is on the internet. I've just slightly adapted it. But she doesn't just write copy. She runs workshops on it. She gives talks on it. She advises brands on it. She's the copy mentor at School of Communication Arts. She tweets about copy. She's the originator of #Copywriters Unite and is adored on social media by a loyal band of followers, three of whom are in the studio today. How was that? Was that all right?
It's fine. It's so uncomfortable having people say nice things or just talk about you in any way when you're sat right there.
I know. I was listening to...
Should we have done that bit before you came in? Should we have recorded that bit?
Maybe. Well, I know that you do a bit of a chat, don't you? That you put on beforehand when you're like, oh yeah, she was all right, wasn't she? So I'm nervous what that's going to be.
The way I tried to with you know Adam Buxton, I don't know if you listen to his stuff. So he goes, he gets out of the way and he'd say some Vicky facts. And then he says them and he does the talk. So we could try that next time.
Anyway, sing a song. He does a jingle.
Yeah.
We did talk about that the other day.
Yeah, right. Anyway.
We need to bring jingles back.
Jingles.
Anyway, carry on. I'll stop interrupting.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So how are you? You're a busy person. What are you up to at the moment? What's Vicky Ross doing at the moment?
I'm really fucking tired. I'm tired and wired. I did a talk this morning for about 100 people and at 2:00 this morning I woke up and thought, I'm just going to rewrite the whole thing.
No, good or bad idea? In retrospect,
I don't know. I think it's good. I think I just can't. I can't feel comfortable unless I've just pulled something apart and not slept and then delivered sort of on a tired high.
Yeah.
Because everyone always says, but you do the same talk, don't you? And I say, no, I write a different one every time. My life would be so much easier if I just turned up and was like, here's what I said.
But then they go, oh yes, you just copy pasted it. Yeah. Well, if it's any consolation, I've been writing. So my best mate Gaz, sorry, just sort of jumping channels a bit. My best mate Gaz got married in a month ago, and he told me on Christmas Day. So since Christmas Day, I've been worrying and writing the speech because he's a great pal. And they were exactly the same. We're waking up at 5 a.m. And after about 4 or 5 months, Rach, my missus said, seriously, it's got to be done now.
It shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. And then you keep going, oh no, but just mention that little bit. And then when you're actually doing it, lift your foot up and show the socks that he bought you. And, I'm a bit like that. And even on the day, I got chatting to some of his guys he works with and they told me something. I was like, that's good. I'll have that. So I wonder if it might be just the disease of a writer to...
I think you're all really self-critical. I really do think you're always in search of perfection. You specifically, I'm talking to. And
it's true. I think as creators, we're really sensitive too.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of pressure to talk in front of a lot of people and them expect you to tell them something of value.
Yeah.
I feel I think I said it before we even started recording, I feel a real responsibility to my audience.
Yeah, you should. And are you always trying to start with a gag? Do you start with a gag or something, or are you more of an erudite character with sort of Hegarty-esque observations on stuff?
To be compared, I am just like John Hegarty. I do try and keep it light. I'm not going to say I start with a gag because I'm not a comedian, but I do take it upon myself to try and be funny. I don't know why I put that added pressure on me, but I just hate any formalities and I don't do formal like I teach, but I'm not a teacher.
Yeah.
I'm just a copywriter who loves what I do, and I want everyone else to love it too. So I want people to feel comfortable and that it's going to be easy. So I start a lot of my talks with, I've got good news.
Oh.
Copywriting's really easy. And I tell you why. Today I did start with, hello, or as Budweiser would say, and I really don't want to do the impression, but where's that?
That's good though. I think it's good. I always think it's very interesting, the written word, as in you read the written word, or the words you write on a page, but then you have to speak. So I'm writing this speech going, oh, this is so funny and that. And then I'm stood in the kitchen in front of my wife and the cat and going, really stumbling and going, you got to figure that out. It's different to
and
what
the
you
cat's
say.
in stitches, obviously.
And so I was chatting yesterday about a very good radio script we got at the Beeb on something, and without naming names, it just got sent through to someone, and they went, "Yeah, no, it's not funny, is it?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "What? No one performed it." I mean, you got to perform on radio because that's how you're going to receive it. You don't sit in your kitchen with a bit of paper. Can you read that? So it is that thing of knowing. You know your platform, your medium, etc. You do it all the time, but well, I'm pleased you've come. Hopefully, this will be the relaxing part of your day.
No, thank you so much for having me. You know, I'm a fan, and I love Out of Home.
Wow.
We've got a lot to thank you for. Firstly, the Alex Taylor introduction, but you're also introduced new fans to the show on social all the time, so we do thank you massively for that. We know you tag us in people's comments. We're in we're 6 or 7 new listeners.
That's just our family. We were going to start with our new feature, which is the poster at the end of my street. Did you have any success in locating anything near your house? It doesn't have to be at your own street, obviously.
Yeah, so I live near the Old Kent Road, and there are lots of big poster sites and digital ones too. So I can't always get good photos because the digital ones don't come out so well. But yes, I make a point of every time I go for a walk, heading up there to see what there is. And the funny thing is, one of the sites, it changes. So there's like 5 each day.
Oh, there must be something good then, right?
Yeah, there is. But the thing I find the most amusing is people are always so bothered by what you're taking a photo of in case they miss something. And I always find people looking around like, what is she doing? She's taking a photo of a wall, because I don't think many real people notice the billboard. So they do wonder why.
It's the nature of the world we live in. As soon as someone's got their camera out, should I take one as well? Is this an Instagram moment?
Yes. What's going on?
Was it any good? What have you got for us?
Right. So I have to, because I can't remember. I only did it about an hour ago.
That's all right.
Okay, so I don't know how to pronounce this brand. Getir,
the shopping brand.
Yeah.
Is it Getir? As in get here, I'm hungry.
Get here now, I'm hungry.
Well, when I first saw it, the first thing I thought was, is it Alita Adams? I don't care how you get here, just get here. I thought, if they're doing a TV ad, surely that's the song.
Surely that's a copy point already there. Is that really? Yeah, anyway, go on.
So their one is Andrex in minutes. That's how we roll.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
It's fine.
It works.
This one is interesting, I think.
This is in a loop of billboards on the digital poster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Specsavers, so they're pretty good with their messaging and their tone of voice. Sometimes have a bit of fun as well. Yeah. But this is a digital one, so they're obviously able to update it in real time. It says 3 appointments available today in your local Peckham store.
Oh, okay.
And I saw it the other day. I think it was 19. So. I thought that's
handy. There's one at the moment
cool.
that says "See more of your relatives this Christmas," which I thought was an interesting idea, but the art direction was really,
it's obvious.
Yeah, it's very dull. But
yeah,
I've got in-house creative at Specsavers. I think.
Nothing wrong with them.
No,
I've been in-house.
No, I think we were talking about it on our previous show actually, and the move to in-housing and the talent that's already has migrating away from agency world.
I'm currently in-house at the moment.
Is landing in-house, and I think it's a super positive thing. And people are getting, I think brands are getting direct access to talent that they weren't before when there was a huge agency network in the way.
But some of the Specsavers stuff is really good. And some of it isn't great, and I think the stuff they do in-house is really good, but it does feel quite like normal sort of stuff.
I mean, we did a commentary piece for them that was updatable a few years ago that was it was always about today's headlines, and there was a kind of tongue-in-cheek message around Specsavers and
okay, what?
so, yeah, it's a reaction to what was happening in the real world. So
Well, do you remember their best one that I can remember is where the poster was all chopped up and put up sort of like a mess, and it should have gone to Specsavers. Which was, I think, after the O2 Oops one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good one.
What else have you got for us, Vicky?
I've got Waitrose. You can taste when it's a Waitrose Christmas with an image of a very tasty looking turkey.
Yeah.
And this is, it only occurred to me today when I saw it. This is Waitrose's version of M&S's. It's not just it's M&S something, isn't it? So yeah, nice but similar. Now TV, now rebranded to Now, but I can't stop saying Now TV. I have to get over it. The line is for Dexter, long time no spree.
Oh gosh, this is quite punny morning, isn't it?
I love puns.
Yeah.
And then Tesco are back with their Christmas ads this year, which I don't know if you remember them or saw them the last year and the year before. They were just really lovely play on words and really fun and warm and Christmassy. Rules go out the window for me at Christmas. I want it to be cliche. I want it to be fun and ho, ho, ho. So for mince pies, they've got that warm filling inside. I love it.
Yeah.
And for the bubbles, Christmas just got its fizz back.
I'm with it. We I worked on the Co-op for about 3 years, funny enough, with Justin, and we all talked about Christmas is the time where you can sugarcoat stuff and actually people want it. But then there's the limit, isn't there? And you're going, oh no, too much. You know, if you get too real as well, people don't like it. But then everyone in agencies...
It's about how early it comes out. It's earlier and earlier. As soon as Guy Fawkes Night's done, that's it. We're bombarded
this
now.
Year is the most... Anyway, so of those, because we sort of want to segue into... Segue.
This is pod speak.
Shit. So that copywriting wise, that's wrong, I reckon. Just into like, have you seen stuff you like lately? What do you think is any good at the moment this year? You know, is any billboards you feel have been strong?
Well, with all the horror of the pandemic, it did bring us copy only ads in like loads of them.
Yeah.
So I was delighted.
You're really
paradise for you.
Every time I went for a walk, it's like, what does this say? Bumble, I mean, an obvious shout.
Yeah.
Ollie Beale.
Yeah. We tried getting him on. He wouldn't come.
Why?
Ollie, I don't know. He said he doesn't do this stuff.
He did for Dave Dye.
Yeah, but we're not Dave.
But we're
Are you
not
going to cut
Dave
that bit out?
Maybe we are. We could.
No, we're keeping that in definitely.
No, but he does. I saw him. Sorry, we're going to digress on to Tony Cullingham's leaving drinks for Watford, and I saw Ollie, and I saw Caroline Pay. Caroline's up for it. Caroline Pay said she'll definitely come, and Ollie said I definitely won't. Like, you know, kind of not even joking. I was like, all right.
Oh, but he's got so much
I know,
to say.
and the Bumble stuff is great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Bumble good.
Bumble's good. And Uber.
Yes.
I don't know who, are they in-house? I don't know who does
A bit of both, I think.
I don't know who does Uber, actually.
Tart around a bit, I think.
Okay, because it was similar to Bumble, their tone and their lines. Yeah, they were really nice.
So I'm going to jump straight in on,
Go on.
tones.
This is obviously cash when we seg.
Yeah. But as a copywriting consultant or someone who talks to brands and companies about tone of voice, you know, do you see who does it well at the moment? Obviously, the people you might be working with, but, you know, are there any brands? I mean, we were just saying at lunch, obviously, The Economist had an incredible run and they managed to keep it. But who do you feel now has a good, consistent tone of voice?
Well, you say I can't say the brands that I'm working with, but I would be working with them if they were.
Exactly.
Yeah, that keeps me in business.
Exactly.
Who's doing it well?
No, you can definitely say those, Vicky. Don't worry.
Nando's. Always, Nike, I mean, the obvious ones. I know not everyone likes it when you name all the big brands because they do seem obvious, but I guess they have more control, which is weird when there's so many more people involved, like thousands of people in agencies and offices around the world, but they still make it sound like it all comes from one place. It's quite a feat and it's worth marking on. Netflix, I really fancy them at the moment.
Yeah.
They just keep getting it right. And watch out, because I really think they could or should start a Twitter account for their billboard. Have you seen they've just started advertising in outdoor, and then they keep taking a photo and posting it on LinkedIn and in their main Twitter feed. But I reckon it's going to have its own account.
They're a media owner now in their own right, Netflix. So they've bought billboards on Sunset. There's a bit of a bum fight for billboards on Sunset in LA, because all of it's a glamour thing for all of the studios. They all want the big billboards on Sunset, and it's part of it is because the number of stars and investment in Hollywood, it's about the biggest billboard, the shiniest billboard. Now more and more of it's going digital. So for Netflix, as a disruptor in the TV and film space, they said, well, we're not just going to go and we're spending all this money on renting billboards from media owners and through our partners. We're just going to go and buy them, and we'll do what we want with them. And they go, they're working with the city directly on what they're allowed to do on them, and they're really pushing the boundaries creatively on what they can do.
This is good intel.
This is where you get the big bucks. Medium bucks. I saw one on LinkedIn which was something to do with dreams and DVDs. Am I getting it?
Yeah, it was something like, we started off as a video rental store, dreams. Don't give up on your dreams.
Brilliant.
And
I love that.
The Halloween one was,
what was the
your
Halloween
ex
one?
has still got your password or something like that. But their branding, it's just seamless, seemingly seamless throughout everything. Their showcase event last month or the month before was called Tudum, after the noise that you hear every time the shows.
But I was going to ask you also about Apple, because I've got a couple of friends. Martha Riley, she went over to work on West Coast, and then Tony McTeer, an old mate of mine, I don't know if he's still there, but variously they would either be the creators. Ben Kay as well, he was part of that media arts lab. But it's like there's a huge amount of people there just making sure the tone of voice spreads around the world properly. Have you been involved in that level of?
I wish. I would love to be. I'd love to go somewhere near the world of Apple. That would be amazing, especially as I really think their tone has dropped in the last product launch.
Right.
Their website copy is not as cool, calm and collected as it used to be. They played with words, but each word still had a benefit or a reason for being there, whereas like their last headline was just so pro.
I saw that.
Which is lovely and rhythmic, and each word is a one-word sentence. But before, where it was, for example, light, full stop, years ahead.
Right.
So it was a light because it was the MacBook, and it was years ahead because it was futuristic. You put the words together, light years ahead, it means it's something else.
Yeah.
So Pro doesn't do that.
It's even more sort of flippant in a way.
Yeah, and I think anybody could do that. Apple are better than that.
Yeah.
But I know someone that worked at Apple, and I'm not going to name them like you did, just in case. But I do love that she they give it. Well, that rules out half.
Half the population.
We can get there. We can get there. She used to tell me that when they would be working on something, they'd go on a shoot, and if they had to go back somewhere to the office to check on something, they'd have security guards go with them to make sure that they didn't tell anyone what was going on the shoot.
Wow.
And sometimes she would turn up to work here at the labs in London and turn on her emails and be like, oh, fuck, I've got to go to LA this afternoon, and they won't tell me why. How exciting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like government work, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like the official Secrets Act. Yeah.
But yeah, it's great.
Because I wanted to also ask you who gets it wrong, right? And actually, when I thought of that, I saw this post this morning. I don't know if you've seen it. It's for this... I'm holding up my screen to Vicky now.
Always good on the podcast.
Yeah, it's going to work really well. It's this Chinese dance troupe, and it just has a picture of them. And the headline says something like, I have reviewed something around 5,000 shows, and this show is better than every one of them. What I've said is better than that. And then in the corner it says here, it says, the orchestra is phenomenal. They are very, very on top. So again... I'm imagining that could be worked on, right?
Yeah, but so when I see things like that, I think one of two things. One is, if you can't say it any better than someone else would have said it for you, then use what they've said. Or if you can't get away with saying something that you want to say, but someone has said it in a quote, then you can use that and get away with it with legal.
Yeah.
But I can't see how either of those scenarios play in the examples you've just read out.
But it must be really hard. You're, as a copy aficionado, walking around. We are bombarded with so many messages on so many medium, and we always say that outdoor is one of those mediums where you can't hide. Your copy can't hide, your image can't hide, your logo can't hide. It is in your face. But the very nature of it, as an aficionado, you must walk around and go, hey, there are these brands out there. They're spending a lot of money on the media and on the creative, and they're getting it so wrong. And it must be hugely frustrating for someone who's honed their craft like you have to read the copy and say, well, is that really the best you could do for the billboard?
Yeah. Well, bang on. Yes. I'm like a kid. If I see a billboard in the distance and it's got words on it, I can't wait. See, I'm crossing the road. I want to see what it says. And then when I get closer, if it's disappointing, it's so disappointing. And like you say, it costs a lot of money to put something up there. And I know that we don't always have time. We've got to get something out quickly, or the client will just write it themselves. God help us. Some clients can write. But it's respect is probably going to be a theme now that keeps coming up, but it's respectful to your audience, because this is the thing they can't turn off. Like, it's not the TV. They can't chuck the magazine out. It's in their face. It's invasive in their high street. And we have a responsibility to decorate that high street with something really cool or entertaining or bright and uplifting, optimistic. There's so many reasons to be there, and we're wasting our time and our audience's time if we don't get it right.
No, I agree. I think as an industry, we have a responsibility for being in the public space where it is. I mean, I don't know if anyone read what Adrian Childs wrote recently about advertising not being creative, and that we shouldn't call ourselves creatives. Well, to be honest, he can go fuck himself. I think we are creative.
That's one more listener gone.
Yeah, well, he can do one. But we are creative, and we're striving to tell stories, and unfortunately, some of those stories fall short. And that's it. Obviously, I work in the digital space mainly, and it really bothers me that people don't use the basic specifications of a screen to their max. When a screen can take animation, why is that a static piece of copy when you can tell a story over a period of time, not just stick up a static piece? Do it. If it can do something that's reactive to the environment or appeal to the audience in some way, communicate with them, make it more relevant, do it. It really frustrates me that there's substandard work out there. And it's the same. We talk about copy all the time, and I think it's the same when I go out there and there are too many words on a billboard, or there's trying to do too many things.
Or things like "We are legend," or "I am legend." Or, I mean, I'm actually intrigued about your work. So I think, do you do that thing ever where you see something and you're so frustrated or irritated? Do you go, right, I'm actually going to write to them? Do you approach brands like that? I'm interested.
Not exactly.
It's a bit childlike.
No, not at all. But similarly, I would never not say something to a client that I wouldn't say. So on social media, I might say something's rubbish, but I will have already told the client that. So I'm never just trying to be bitchy for bitchy's sake. I'm hopefully being constructive, because why wouldn't you want to do better and be better? Yeah. But I do also always say you can't win every battle, and there are reasons why things are shit. I don't think that all of the excuses are valid, and I think that it's a fucking honour, our jobs.
Yeah,
we could have far worse jobs in the world, so why wouldn't we put everything into it? And I mean, not everyone's going to love their work, of course, but like I said, there are worse jobs to do. If your job is to make a poster look fit, then why wouldn't you?
Yeah. I remember seeing years ago, Trevor and Al, and they used to say exactly the same thing. And they said, the brief in front of you is, imagine that's the only brief you're going to get all year. Now, then give it some respect, whether it's radio, trade ad, and that was a brilliant. I never really left me that, it can be amazing.
Yeah.
It's up to your mindset.
I think it's maybe difficult if you're not feeling it for the brand. I've only ever worked for brands that I'm really into and really love. So getting to write for them is an honour, and wanting to bring to life whatever it is that I'm saying is important to me. Whereas I'd probably struggle if it was a brand that I wasn't into. And I haven't worked in an ad agency where you are thrown a category that you never wanted to touch, and you've still got to do something great with it.
And so when you started, did you start with a brand, or did you start with an agency? What was your kind of starting point in the industry?
Well, like a lot of people, it was all a happy, lucky accident. I started in a tiny direct marketing agency in North London, which doesn't exist anymore. And I didn't know what they were, but I learned that they wrote reader offers in the national press.
Right.
And I mean, talking about writing things that you don't know anything about or don't love, I wrote for sci-fi for like 2 years.
Right.
My parting job was a 40-page sci-fi merchandise catalogue, and I just didn't know I had that in me.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Did you have to get into sci-fi in order to
I went to a few conventions.
Yeah. Dressed up?
Yes, actually. Embarrassing. Yes. But wow. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it was intense, but if people love something, you have to love it on their behalf as well.
Yeah.
But that's also another really cool part of our job. We get to learn so much shit about stuff we don't need to know. And like for a day, you're immersed in something. And then, over dinner, you're like, did you know, telling somebody something really random that you're never going to use again.
Tire compound of Michelin tires is made up of 16 different profiles of rubber.
What a great way to spend the day. So good. So I suppose I did, my first ever, I call it an advert, but it was a reader offer, was for Caravanning and Camping magazine, a mini dishwasher.
The glamour.
And I was like 18. Oh. What did I know about a dishwasher? And, I used the sink. You're in a caravan. Yeah. You need a dishwasher. So anyway, it went out, and it did well actually, because you could measure it with with a reader offer. And as far as I was concerned, I had a full page ad in the national press as my first ever piece, and I was delighted.
That's your name in lights. That's the equivalent, right?
But I didn't know really anything about the advertising industry. I didn't know that it could be bigger and sexier at the time. I've just found my way in.
But you were always a writer. That was always your passion.
Yeah, I wanted to write. I loved magazines, and I loved writing and reading and writing. And I didn't know, like everybody, I didn't know what a copywriter was. So I thought that meant I wanted to be a journalist. I hate long copy, so I definitely didn't. I just didn't understand. So I went to this direct marketing agency, and I was there for 2.5 years. And then I left, and I went traveling because I'd gone straight from college and failed A-levels and just went straight to work to earn money. Well, there were some secretary jobs first. And then I came back from traveling, and I thought, well, I'm a copywriter. I've written reader offers for 2 years.
Yeah.
I can go into an ad agency now. I didn't know you needed a book. I didn't know ad schools existed. I didn't know there were internships, placements, mentoring. I didn't know anything.
Wow.
So I was going to all these creative recruitment agencies, and they're like, who are you? Well, I've written in the national press. It didn't work. So I got a PA job at the Body Shop because I had to get money. And after about 3 months of fucking up the woman I was working for's diary, she was like, what do you want to do? This is clearly not it. And I said, I really want to write. And she said, well, let's see what you do with this. And she gave me some copy from internal comms, and I rewrote it, and she moved me straight away. She was like, you're a writer.
Into the marketing department?
Well, internal comms was part of marketing, but I'm at Sky a lot now, and it's very different.
So you're at the Body Shop, and you went into the body copy shop. Sorry, that's a really shit joke. But I really wanted to get it.
I don't know if we want to log that on the time frame just to...
Those body copy, right? Anyway.
And then from internal comms, I then pestered the creative director in the in-house studio until he could see that I could do it too. And he moved me into the studio, and I worked there. Well, so all in all, I was at the Body Shop for 8 years, in the studio for, it must have been 6.
That's brilliant. That's quite a tenure there.
Yeah, well, I never thought I'd leave, but then L'Oreal bought it and fucked it. And
right. I always wondered about that.
Yeah.
It was privately owned before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anita Roddick.
Yeah.
The most incredible woman, way ahead of her time. She sold it to them, apparently because they'd promised to learn from her how to trade ethically, which I can see why that would be a big pull for her, but that's not what happened.
No.
It's still going though, isn't it? I see it.
L'Oreal dumped it.
Right.
Yeah, because they fucked it and it didn't make money, so they walked off, and now I think, it's not independent now, it's owned by another big group, but but one that respects it and has brought back some of its values.
So when you left, you went, because I was just doing a little bit of research the other day. So Virgin, Sky, Expedia, in that order, or?
Yeah. So when I left the Body Shop, I thought I need to do something completely different and scary. And I went to Virgin Media.
Yeah,
and then I was like, yeah, this is the place, because now I'm talking about TV and I love TV.
Yeah.
And I covered the senior copywriter's maternity leave. And while I was there, I'm told, I don't know if this is true, that Sky were looking to rebrand and found out that Virgin Media had hired a copywriter in their brand department and they wanted one too. And so I was approached.
Wow.
And I went to Sky and had 7 interviews.
7 interviews?
Yeah.
Wow.
And by the last one, it was with the MD. And I said, I don't mean to be rude, but do I have the job? I don't know how much more I can tell you all. And I did get the job.
Right.
And it's probably the best place I've ever worked. And 10 years later, I'm still with them on a consultant basis.
And so this was not an in-house creative agency at the brands. It's an in-house head of copy across all the copy, as like, you know, kind of keeping the tone exactly right.
Brand, tone of voice, and you're issuing a Bible to others who wish to speak on behalf of the brand.
Catch that. Could you try again?
Perfectly timed Siri interaction.
That's what all my guidelines say.
That was so perfect. Yeah. So how did you write that?
Yeah, so I wrote the brand book and the tone of voice guidelines, and I spent 2 years rolling out the instruction across the whole business, but also all of their partner agencies, and they have about 25.
Wow.
So it was a big job, and it was really cool and really exciting, but I was in meetings and talking more than I was writing.
Yeah.
And then often we'd have copy come back from somewhere and it wasn't on brand, so I'd end up rewriting it anyway. So I got to a point where I thought, this isn't quite what, I want to be writing more from the start, not fixing stuff. And so I reluctantly handed in my notice and thought, I'm going to try freelancing, which is something I'd never considered before. But as you get more and more senior, it gets more and more businessy, less and less creative.
Yeah.
You don't really know what to do with yourself. So I thought, is freelance the only option? So I left. I handed in my notice. They said, we don't want you to go. I said, well, I don't really want to go. So then, like with most people, they became my first client. And then I was pretty much working for them full time anyway. But then I panicked in the whole freelance thing because I have been such a hard worker my whole career and used to going in 5 days a week, whatever the times were. So to not know if you were going to work next week and get paid at the end of the month, I really struggled with, struggled with. So while I was struggling, Expedia approached me for a head of copy job. And as much as I love TV, I also love going away.
Right.
So I said yes.
Wow.
And within 3 weeks.
And that was full time?
Yeah.
So that gave you much more security, right? You knew what you're doing.
Yeah.
I understand that. I totally get that.
But within 3 weeks,
I know.
I was like, I'm in meetings. And
You're back
I'm
in the
not
South
writing
Run.
So within 3
anything.
weeks, I was in Vegas.
Oh, no, I went to loads of places. It was amazing.
Right.
I went to Argentina, Paris, Chicago, Dallas. It was amazing.
Right.
Yeah, but within 3 weeks, I was in meetings about people's holiday days and sick leave. And I'm so not business minded. I'm like, if you want to go on holiday, just go on holiday. You're an adult. I know you're going to come back and do the work. I don't need to manage you like a child. I hated all of that.
The some of the modern, more kind of future focused businesses. I think Netflix did this. They don't have a holiday allowance anymore.
Yeah, treat you like a grown up.
Yeah. All right. If you've got work to do. If you've done
if you take the piss, we'll sack you.
Yeah. If you
it's fine.
go on holiday for 60 days of the year and don't do your work, you'll be gone anyway.
Yeah, but you're not an idiot.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It's quite interesting, isn't it?
I'm just just go back one tiny beat. I'm interested. So say at Sky, right? So I worked at BBH and Sky was one of our clients. So at that time, could I have written a headline? It goes to the client. Would they then go, okay, we're going to put it in to the internal thing. So you could, in theory, have looked at it and then it come back with a comment. Is that, and then the agency would have to adapt it, or you would adapt it?
Please say
Yes.
Please
So
say yes.
you killed my work. No, I didn't have it.
Well, this is going to sound like I don't remember seeing anything from BBH because the job is too big to manage.
But it was ages ago because when Sky
Okay.
first came out, I'm quite an old person. But it was like, literally Sky is the first time they did posters. It's about
Okay.
95 or
Oh,
something.
so it's way before my time.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say way, sorry.
Yeah.
Way. There's your grey hair in my beard.
A long time ago.
Anyway, moving on.
But yes, I would review copy.
They were still painting posters back then.
Well, it's come back round now.
Yeah, it has, yeah.
I would review copy from agencies, and I would go into agencies and talk to them. And sometimes I would go into agencies and talk to them because they were struggling with the process, because not everyone at Sky knew how to judge copy and feedback in a way that was constructive and helped everybody.
Yeah.
So sometimes I was the go-between. That's the other thing I don't really get about agencies, and not to do anyone else out of a job, but there were a lot of people in the way when sometimes I was like, can I just talk creative to creative? Why do I have to speak to 9 people for it to go along, and then hopefully the same thing that I said gets to the person that actually needs to hear it?
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah.
It gets translated by those 9 people. And
Yeah, or like, well, this is what I think, I'll just add that in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But does your role now, the way you're working now, does it still work the same? Because like we were talking earlier, you have go direct to client to their internal agency, or go direct to a client and talk to their agency. I mean, I imagine you're pretty au fait with all of it, right? I mean, do you have a preferred way of working, or what's more efficient? Is it
more efficient is I work directly with a client.
okay?
The dream for me when I was starting out was I wanted a long career in advertising. I wanted to work in an advertising agency and grow up in it and be, by now in a big role looking after creatives in a big agency department. But that wasn't my path because I didn't know about it or how to get into it. So I think even though I didn't have the job that I thought I would love, I have a job that I love. And I think I have the fortunate position of having a great relationship with really senior people at a brand where we can just get work done. I did speak to an ECD at an agency a couple of years ago, and he said, tell me how you work, because I'm interested in getting you in maybe. And so I told him, and he said, nah, you'd hate working in an agency. There's 14 people in the way before you can get anything done.
Yeah.
And then we worked together, and he was right. The rounds and rounds and rounds of feedback, and we ended up at the first thing I'd written anyway.
This is very familiar.
And if he'd have just seen it rather than everyone else in between, everything would have been done quicker. And also I left thinking, oh, maybe he thinks I'm shit because there had to be so much feedback before, but he didn't see the first version.
Yeah.
If you know what a brand wants to do, you know what to do.
Yeah, no, I can see that frustration.
We talked in a previous episode about the old agency model being broken. And that is exactly one of the reasons, the kind of the levels of hierarchy and the old ways of working are still there. And so I think, and we talked about that move to internal creative departments and working directly with brands for smaller shops has meant that that it happens quicker, but there's better work getting out there quicker. And not everyone is beholden to one agency team. I'm going to use these people I've got my copy experts, I've got my photographers I can call upon, and sometimes I've got my freelance creative teams that I'll bring in as per the medium that I'm going to be working on. Yeah,
it's much more of a rounded whole process too, and it can all happen really quickly and effectively. Like I'd sit in brand meetings at Sky, and you can just say, I think we should make the error page on the website on brand, like Spotify do, for example. And they go, yeah, all right, let's brief in the the developers, not the IT guys, the developers. And you don't have to write a brief, and you don't have to get it signed off, and you don't have to have loads of meetings because you're all just there.
Yeah.
And you all know how to execute on the brand with your eyes shut. I know Dave Trott says a lot, if you work for a brand, you're a bit stale because you only work for that brand and you're not flexing between briefs and audiences and messaging. And I get what he's saying, but I suppose the brands I've worked for...
It depends on the brand.
I mean, they're massive. Sky isn't just TV, it's broadband, it's phone, it's B2B. There's stuff at the O2 with the studio.
Even on TV, there is movies, there is sports.
Yes.
It is so broad. And Expedia, the same. I think it depends on the brand. Yeah, if you're working on innocent smoothies, maybe the different flavors that you work on.
How many more times can you say something cute about a berry?
Right. So, and I think it can only depend on the brand. If you're working in-house and the brand is huge, like Sky or like the BBC, it's not just TV shows, it's radio, and your canvas is is a huge canvas to play on.
I was thinking about Oatly. We had Michael
Lee,
thank you, in the other day, which was great, actually, last series. And then I was in my fridge getting the Oatly out, and then there was
his face is on the side of it. Is it?
Is it?
Yeah. And then there's
bedtime stories with Mike. That one says.
Oh my God, that's my grandma's dream. She's always to me and my brother like, why? Well, she's not around anymore, but why isn't your name on your work? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, not quite. But what they do, I mean, it's quite interesting, Oatly, because I wasn't a fan initially, and now I'm a massive fan, and now we've had people on who fucking love it. Hegarty is one of them, and people who definitely don't like it.
Quite polarizing, isn't it?
Yeah, but and the posters are great, but then the packaging is even better. Like the other day I was looking at it, and there's a colouring in thing. Then there's a thing about the boring bits and all that, and then there was stuff about dads like me with kids, and getting the kids to make sure that I'm.
My daughter Ruby read on the packet yesterday. She said, "Was it push here to open or something?" And it's just a drawing on the side. She said, is that real, Daddy? And I was like, no, it's not. But it's playful, and that's the.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Because you go, that's a canvas, right, to work on. Just fill it with shit and like fake messaging and just. I mean, I suppose that's a brand is curated a tone. I mean, a tone of voice there is. It's frightening how. Actually, do you like it? I'm wondering. Are we saying stuff as you're going?
No. I like it from a copywriter's point of view, and a person in the industry's point of view. I think it's fun, and they're doing an incredible job. And hardly anyone lets you write that much.
Yes.
Or just go with words and be that sort of self-deprecating, and so on. But I don't like it on behalf of the customer or the audience, because I don't know how people feel when they walk past an ad that says, you just looked at me and I'm an ad. But then I say that and my husband likes it. I mean, you could argue, but he hears me, so he's not a real person.
Is he's not an advertising husband.
He makes podcasts. Like us.
Should get him in.
Probably a lot better than
but he hears me all the time. I mean, I drag him around the world to my talks. He's like my entourage. So he does know more than most real people. But he likes things that don't try too hard. And he says it's telling me what it is. I know if I want an oat drink, it looks like that, and I'm going to see it on the shelf and know, and I'll make the connection back. But I don't know that other people, I don't know, give it that much thought.
It's really interesting.
Mike Lee talked to us about what it was before, and it's quite interesting the journey that I'm sure our listeners listened to that one. But it was a cold packet. The pack was it looked like oat milk, like some of the other oat milk out there. They really wanted to turn that on its head and get it looking different. On all of the oat milks were white carton with a picture of oat on the side, and they really wanted to make it stand out on the shelf, and and copy was a huge part of that.
And they don't just do that on the packaging or the adverts, the thing that they think people are going to, they do it in everything.
Yeah.
And that is what I want from a tone of voice. I want it in everything.
That was just going to be my point. Yeah.
Sustainability report or whatever it is, like the boring stuff is still in their tone of voice.
And tone of voice doesn't literally have to be the words, the voice. I was thinking about what Paul Arden said about, can I spot a brand at 100 yards from a bus stop? And that's another thing I love about Oatly is I go, that's an Oatly ad, that's an Oatly pack. And I'm going, I like that. And it's that simple. And it's actually really interesting, the point you make about your husband, the same with my wife, actually. I'm not bringing our sort of partners onto the show. But Rach, her antenna's up because I'm always wanging on about stuff. I'm really interested. You find a personal life sometimes. But look at that bus side. That word is wrong. But she doesn't really notice posters and stuff unless I go, look at that, blah, blah, blah. And then she'll go, oh, yeah. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of people aren't even noticing stuff unless they're asked, what did you think? And that's even
Well, yeah, my
more
husband
telling.
was responding to me saying, what do you think of that? Whereas I remember another time we were in the car and I said, oh, did you see that billboard? Because I'm always looking up rather than at the road. And he said, what billboard?
Right.
They don't see them.
Yeah.
There's been some interesting neuroscience reports on outdoor over the last 5 or 6 years, talking about how the frequency of ads and the number of times you need to see it to register and to get product recall. But it's also about whether you know the product already and if you're tuned to their tone of voice. And so sometimes before even seeing any creative, there was a great study in football stadiums where they asked football fans coming out of the stadiums what they'd seen on the pitch side hoardings. And it was different that day than it had been previously. And people come out and say, yeah, I saw Coca-Cola and McDonald's and whatever. And, they weren't on display that day.
Wow.
And it was an interesting thing that you've been so tuned by going to the football stadium every week and watching football here. They changed all the advertising hoardings that day. It said something completely different.
Wow.
But no one had noticed.
I love that.
But it's that recall that they'd had from the previous sessions that they called out brands.
The other thing with that is they thought they saw something, but they were only answering because they were pushed.
Yeah.
But with outdoor, you never have a conversation with a real person who says, oh, and I saw it on an advert on the street. But they do say they saw something on an advert on the telly.
Yeah.
And that's when everyone's apparently fast forwarding. So it's a weird
bit of
We talked about the in a few episodes the socialization of billboards as well, and I wonder if that affects the way that people write copy as well these days. What do you think? Is the one-off billboard that is for social purposes? Do you think that changes the way that people are writing copy if they're working on that stuff?
Um,
I'll give you an example. The Burger King, another Whopper on the side of a bus.
I didn't know that. What are you saying? Their intention was to go?
Yeah, the intention was to go viral.
Better?
Yeah, it wasn't for the bus itself. It was
Right.
for the picture of the bus.
Because we found out that the high fat and sugar content, you weren't allowed to put that on the side of a bus. I think it was one of us or Paul Belford spotted it because we're that interesting.
No, I love that.
And then in the morning we all went, so how's that happen? Because you can't. And it was parked, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a legit.
So it didn't go past school.
They'd rented an old bus, and in fact the format, just for the Uber outdoor geek, thank you Richard Simpkins, was an L side, not a T side, and they don't make those formats.
What was so
anymore,
brilliant about it was we're talking about it, and then other people talked about it, and then like Dan's saying, then because we going, yeah.
And it goes into the outdoor awards because it was outdoor advertising. It got traction because of people sharing pictures of it on.
So the thing I like about that is the bit before, which is someone had that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a brilliant person or team or whoever.
Yeah, it was BBH, wasn't it?
Yes.
So I love that.
That's great.
And then I go back to, if we love our jobs, we'll do stuff that
pushes the boundaries.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and it's the same. There's a big trend at the moment on digital out of home for this forced perspective, anamorphic, making things look like 3D on billboards. Ocean Outdoor, as a media owner, have done a great job to productize this thing called deep screen. It's a technique that's been around for many, many years, but and from an outdoor perspective, it's not really about the outdoor audience, that thing, because it's only really visible from a single angle. It's about capturing it and sharing it on another medium. So it's all about socializing billboards. It's not about the thousands of people that could see it on the street. And so it's kind of not classic outdoor. So
no. So I've thought about those, and they're very cool to look at online, on social, going viral. But it's kind of cheating the craft of the original, like what's required for the original medium, because you're basic, and I'm going to offend loads of people and be really old fashioned, but it's like putting TV on a bit. It's not, I know it's,
no, I agree.
TV, but it is, you're putting something to watch, and some of them are amazing. But yeah, you're changing the use of it. And it's actually not a good experience for the audience that are live underneath it.
And so, yeah, exactly. Because if you're off the angle, you're looking at warped copy. That's what's happening. So for the one person standing at the key spot on the right line, the trajectory, the angle, it's it works really well. It's quite similar to some of the augmented reality stuff that we've worked on as well before. But I think that, like as with anything creative, it can be done well and it can be done poorly. And I think that if you do it well and give it the craft and level of craft that it deserves and do something bespoke for that unit, it can live on social. But the warning, I think, to everyone would be, if we flood the market with this stuff and everything that goes on the Piccadilly lights uses this anamorphic idea, at some point there will be a tipping point on social. I've seen that stuff before. It's not a poster anymore. It's just I could mock that up in the studio and not have to worry about putting it on the poster.
But it can't be craft just for craft's sake. It still has to go back to the brand and have a reason for being what it is from the brand, and talk to the audience and give them a reason for believing. There has to be a reason for it, not just we've got this technology and we're going to go with it. A variation of it that I've seen that I like that stays true to the medium is McDonald's in Germany. They did a big billboard with a coffee and there was steam coming out of it. So it wasn't a deep screen thing, but it just had an effect.
Sweet.
And I thought it was really cool.
Those so there used to be one in the middle of Times Square for cup noodles that was just permanent steam.
Yes, didn't you reply to me when Yes, that's
it. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was there for many years. I mean, when I first went to New York in the 90s, it was there.
Yeah.
It's be like best use of steam.
In a new Lions
we've
category.
We've got some other weird categories going on, so you never know. Yeah. But you mentioned Ocean Outdoor. I have to say that's my favourite award show each year. This year was online, obviously. Last year, I can't remember what happened, but I used to love going every year to the IMAX and seeing all the work on the massive screen. It was just so good. Like this year, one of the winners was Pets at Home, and they had billboards where it looked like you were stroking a pet for a bit of calm in the pandemic mayhem, and it was just lovely.
Yeah, I always think those get some really brilliant creative out of that, and quite often they go on to be real, don't they? Even the runners-up. There's the one TFL do as well, don't they, for the diversity challenge or something?
Yes.
Always great ones to enter because you hopefully can get some very pure creative out.
There was some great work this year from The Gate.
Right.
I can't remember what the brand was, though, which I know is a fail, but it was they showed older couples of all cultures and ages and backgrounds naked and touching, and it was
it wasn't
gorgeous.
Relate, was it?
Maybe.
There's one, because I was doing a bit of research for best posters of the year. I was asking some mates, and someone, I think it might have been shortlisted at Campaign Big, but it was Relate, the relationship specialist, but it had couples in bed. Because that was a theme that people did the Brompton bike one as well. I was trying to do something with Matt Lever from B&B for LinkedIn. Do you remember we were going to try to do something with Steve Reeves' Over 50 project?
Yeah.
So, those things are brilliant because they become very pure exercises. And I think probably a lot of creatives do get very frustrated in the day-to-day stuff. They feel a bit suppressed. I wanted to move on. It's just relatively good link this to your Seg, your copy safari, right?
Yes, we need to go on one.
Yes.
So, first, thank you. We'd love to do a live. So
I thought we could record the podcast. I obviously thought of this too late, but I don't know how you feel about this, John. But we could go.
Where do we get your husband involved? And we'll get.
Hold on, you're doing him out of a job over there.
Sorry, John.
Silent money for Christmas. But why don't we get one of those things, these booze cruise things where you ride?
Oh yes, with the moving bar.
And it just looks, honestly, I actually never ever want to do it. It looks the most painful, embarrassing, stupid idea. Like for about 3 seconds, you think, this would be a laugh.
Yeah, but I have to pedal to get beer.
Everyone in the West End.
Be wasted too.
Yeah, but look, so Copy Safari.
Yes. So
I'm just going to do a little a bit of social stuff. So for our listeners who don't know who Vicky is, she has 48.3 thousand followers on Twitter, and as of today,
I don't.
Oh, all right. Well, that's what it said. And at LinkedIn, 9,569. So you're obviously a very popular person. And I was chatting to creatives at BBC. Everyone holds you in very high esteem, which is much more important in the real world. So, you obviously have a very big presence. And I suppose you've developed there's something called hashtag Copywriters Unite, which just looks like a very interesting hashtag of just people putting stuff on, shouting at stuff which is right or wrong, which I like. But the one I wanted to talk about was hashtag Copy Safari. So I'm sort of secretly hoping we were saying? Is it us lot going around going, that's a bit shit. Yeah. That's good. We'll have some of that. Is it really that?
Yes, I try and make it more constructive.
Obviously, that's very black and white, everybody.
But yes, it is half a day with me, yes. Going around town, usually just to keep things central and easy, meet around Regent Street, Oxford Street, and go up and down and try and catch buses and taxis as they go past, but also look at Piccadilly lights. By the way, I love that it's got like a name. Yes. For a poster site, and shop windows, and if it's raining, inside the shop and looking at point of sale. And the idea is to judge and review and critique and admire or see if you could improve upon it. Is the execution on brand? Who's it talking to? What's it saying? Could we have done it any better? Have we seen anything similar? And the reason for it is because I bloody love what I do and I'm nosy and I like to see what everyone else is doing. But also, did I do an A and a 1, 2 or what, when you do a list and you do them the wrong. Anyway. Yeah. And then the other reason why I do it is because I work from home by myself a lot and I miss the times when you'd be in a thriving, buzzy, lively,
the water cooler moments and
not that, but when you've got all the work on the wall,
right? Okay,
and you're not looking at it on a screen, because you see it so differently. And I think it's really important that we take the time to go out and look at stuff in situ, also, and also to have a look at what the passers-by are doing. Yeah. Are they looking or are they just on their way?
Well, I have that with my team all the time. One of the things, you work in a highly visual medium, you're producing stuff that's a great animations or great layouts. Once it goes live, go out and see it and go see what people are doing. So go see how people are absorbing your design, because it helps you get better. Yeah. And all too often it goes off to the delivery department and then I'm on to the next one. You have to see it physically. Yeah. And we have it with some of the interactive stuff that we work on as well. And we do large scale augmented reality where you get a character experience. Post. Yeah, so the thing with Airbus, as much as we'd all love to be in Dubai, the people on the ground there, we have this thing where we'd send someone out with a camera to film people in awe and in wonder of the work that you do, because I think it's really important for us to feel the emotion of an audience as they see their content. And with those interactive things, it's the same, It's not just about the person interacting with Mickey Mouse in Times Square. It's about the halo audience all watching that person. And then beyond that, people looking up at the billboard and seeing something different. Yeah. And I think it's really important to see work as it's out there.
I do. I think
it helps you improve.
You see it differently too. So I always see work first, I suppose, like most of us, through industry press or social media. And I think it was earlier this year, McDonald's put a load of ads out. One of them was the McMuffin, and the line was 7:45 a.m. And on Twitter, I thought, that's really weak. I don't like that. And McDonald's are good. Right. Like, they're really good. Yeah. So I was disappointed. And then I saw it in the morning, lit up, getting on a bus. And it talks to you because it was relevant. It's relevant. It's in the moment. It's saying what you're thinking.
Brought a smile to you.
It's brilliant. Yeah. And it's really unfair that we judge things.
Yeah, there's something
unrealistically.
We had Nils Leonard come on last series. He was brilliant. And the thing we noticed, and they knowingly did. Every time they do a bit of outdoor, they supply it to campaign and creative view in situ. And after a while, I started thinking, Uncommon are doing some great stuff, because just by seeing it in situ now, it feels more real and it feels, like you say, more relevant. And I don't know, when you just see a piece of artwork, it's hard to judge. I remember Dave Dye talked about, and this is like first lessons we had at Watford, which is put your ad in the place it's going to be. Like the thing I was talking about, we were talking about the radio, performing radio, rather than just seeing it as a piece. Yeah. It doesn't really, that's never how you're going to receive it. So in a way, I love that idea of that tour. I'd really like to do that, because do you then have a sort of little critique at the end? And do you do you then say to people that these are what's working or not, or do you have a sort of set route you go on?
Well, so the interesting thing was, so you said it's hashtag Copy Safari, because when I go out, I and the people I'm with tweet photos of what we've seen and then what we think about it. And what I never expected was so many people join in. It's great. And then there's more of you doing it.
Yeah.
And so then at the end, it's not like an official sort of wash up meeting, but there might be all right, we've seen like 14 things and this was my favorite of the day, or the theme is clearly X. So there is some conclusion to it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. I love that. I remember in lockdown, I went for some walks in some slightly sort of random parts of London and found so many interesting posters which just have messages of positivity. They were like, there was a whole community, brilliantly art directed messages, you're not alone and we're in this together. And you're thinking, where's this coming from? And I love that. When there is no logo or end line, I remember was it the Steve McQueen stuff, the Year 3 project? And I was on a tube platform and I looked down, I was drawn to it like a beacon, because there was nothing on it. And it's just these kids looking out and tiny hashtag Year 3. I was like, oh, what's that? Rather than this thing next to it shouting.
Yeah.
And that is so powerful. This sort of, less is more. And
well, also that's respectful.
Yes.
We're going to come back to that again, because people know how to look stuff up.
Yeah.
You don't need to explain to them and guide.
Here's the phone number, here's the website, here's the hashtag, here's our Instagram handle.
I had one last week. Could you tell us everything in the first 3 seconds? I'm like, no. But I suppose if I want to keep working here, I don't know. There's a point at which you go, without going into it, you know when you're doing the right thing and you know when you're slightly. So
we're agreed we're going to do a behind the billboard Copy Safari in the near future.
Excellent.
Live.
Yes.
Yeah. So we always ask our guests what their favourite billboards of all time. They could be something you've done or something you've seen other people done or something years ago. Do you have any favourites from times gone by? Or
I'm actually really bad at answering questions like this, like what's your favourite line? Like, I like most things. So
what's your favourite movie? What's your favourite
your favourite song? They're really hard
When
questions.
Harry Met Sally, really Margarita, any more?
Margarita?
I'm joking, it's the first one came to mind. All right, pepperoni. There's only 2 pizzas in the world up there. Sorry.
That's okay. I'm just thinking I did make notes because I don't have a good memory. So, I mean, obviously all the old multi-award-winning classics go without saying, and why don't we have such sexy pieces like that anymore? And the first thing that comes to mind is it Mark Denton's Nike?
Yes,
Isaac Newton, Neil, Jordan 1, is that it?
Yes. Tim Riley wrote it, but it was with Mark at Mark's place. Yeah.
So we don't see stuff like that's clever and that trust the audience to just get it and enjoy it.
Respect.
We're too, so all of that sort of thing aside, and we talked about Alex Taylor before we started recording, her silk cut ads.
Yeah.
Just that, no copy, but I just remember as a kid, just purple. Decorating the road as I drove along in the back of my parents' car. But more recently, I really like things that play with where they are and who they're talking to, and the smartness of stuff like that. So I think, was it PIMS that would change their digital screens depending on the weather, like today's a PIMS day or something like that.
Yeah.
I also really like...
That's one of the great things about outdoor is that you can be location specific. The units don't move, so we know where they are, and whether it's a traditional site or a digital site, if you can update it in real time, you do. That's what I said at the beginning. It frustrates me that people don't use the power of context, because the biggest thing for outdoor, the power of context, is it's in a fixed location.
It's actually quite lazy to not use the context.
I think so.
And it's a missed opportunity. I also really like, as a copywriter, when copywriters have clearly had fun and played with the words, because I'm keen for copywriters to enjoy their writing as much as the reader will enjoy reading it. So Mark Rayson at BBH, he wrote the Wimbledon. Robinson sponsored Wimbledon one year, and the ad was the court. I nearly called it a pitch. The tennis court, and the words are on either side of
So you had to read.
So you read like you were watching a tennis match.
Great.
Brilliant.
That's brilliant. I don't know if it's original. It's similar to the Adidas, the next lamppost, the next lamppost, the next lamppost. That
was Dave, wasn't it? Dave Dye. And it's to the lamppost, to the thing.
And also the corners project as well that we talked to Andy about.
Yes.
Reading copy around the corner.
Oh, and Sue, you had Sue on with her sticks to corners. Yes.
Sorry, that was it.
That was that old Vauxhall car.
Yeah.
Sticks to corners.
Well, and then that reminds me of the glue one with the cars on the billboard. Yes. Yeah. I love all that.
Yeah.
I mean, Mini not recently, but within the past sort of decade, used to stick minis to the sides of buildings. But there needs, I think. Yeah. Anyway, great.
Well,
special builds.
Marmite
was fantastic. Dynamite.
Yeah.
That was
I saw that in real life, and it was like seeing a celebrity.
Oh,
it was so exciting.
See, so we all saw it. Well, I mean, I think the bulk of the industry saw it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Sort of a campaign. You go, oh, that's good. Have you seen this? Share it around. But to see it in real life, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Adam and Eve and Sam O'Connell at Kinetic team, they did a fantastic job. And I think 2 weeks later they did it somewhere else. It's really good.
Yeah,
that will be on that will be on the list. That's certainly on our list this year. Yeah, it's a goodie,
And Adam and Eve probably think I'm some weird stalker because I'm not shy to say that I love them. I think their work is consistently brilliant. And if I had the time, I'm not saying that they would accept me, but I'd so contact them and say, would you take me on as an intern for 2 weeks just so I can come and play? Not that sounded disrespectful to the work they do, but I would be like a kid in a toy shop just listening to them all talking about what they're doing. I used to put on an event for copywriters, and one of their copywriters spoke at it. I had to have someone who wrote the John Lewis Christmas ad, and it was Miles Carter who wrote The Man in the Moon at the time.
Right.
And even his talk was brilliant. They're just all brilliant.
Yeah. Well, everyone appears like that. No, not mocking anyone, but no, you're right. They are their tone of voice, as in their creative output, is amazing. They're so consistent. I was thinking, Uncommon are really in the sort of zone at the moment, but Adam and Eve and Abbott's sort of, they were always there or thereabout.
Well, you mentioned Uncommon before. I was going to say, I forgot. I've just remembered. Their B&Q ads that came out in the spring, just before the summer, around that time, that were beautiful, big floral imagery with really positive copy. That's the sort of thing that just would, and not in a digital way, but light up the high street, brighten it in a time when we were emerging out of lockdown into the throes of spring, with it being put to us on a billboard when you're in a city as well. It's just so well done. That's my favourite piece of work by them. I'm looking forward to see what they do with British Airways though.
Oh my God, yeah. I think it's staggering how you can... I love advertising the way new agencies come up, fourth, fifth wave, whatever on now, and they reinvent B&Q. And they're going, well, what's the best posters of the year? And everyone's going, well, that's B&Q. It's no brainer.
Thought?
Yeah, a few years back, you're going, B&Q.
Yeah.
You're joking.
DIY, yeah.
$14.99, get these hammers, blah, blah. So, that's great.
Well, let's talk about tips for copywriters specifically, but creatives. And, we've talked about some of the best billboards that ever made. What would be your tips? We know you give lots of tips out through your social platform and through your talks, but what would be your tips specifically for people looking to work on billboards and copywriters? What would be your kind of your 3 rules for
oh gosh,
for
that sounds
billboards?
like I've got official ones. Well, I think firstly, didn't there used to be the rule that if you were writing a billboard, you'd never write more than 7 words or something?
Yeah.
I mean,
we don't agree with that.
No, you can't say that. You must write for as long as it is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the Gossage quote? People read what interests them. Sometimes it's an ad.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the one that people forget.
But the thing with writing at length is there's a lot going on and people are driving and or they've got the kids pulling at their hand while they're walking. They're not going to stand and read something that's long. So I would get to the point quickly and also make it legible. Audi writes such good copy, but you can't see it. It's tiny. and it's like up in the sky and you're down on the motorway or whatever and you miss it. I mean, I'm always looking. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
So if we're putting it into 3, so 1, write for as long as is interesting. 2, make it legible. And I guess like as with anything, make it interesting and relevant to the audience and the brand. Which reminds me, I did see a line which I kind of debated in my head for quite a while if I liked it or not, because at first I didn't like it, and it was for it was for a gin, I think, and the line was, "So it turns out you can buy good taste." And so I first saw it and I thought, that's too familiar, it's too long. No one cares. It didn't work on first glance. But then I couldn't stop thinking about it because actually it's brilliant. It's conversational. It starts as if you're mid-conversation, so people feel like they're already in it. It's got you in it, so it's talking directly to them. It's got a familiar phrase, you can't buy good taste, but they twist it so it makes you think. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's quite long, so it turns out you can't buy good taste. So 9 words, so we've broken the 7 rule or whatever it was. Yeah.
One of the great things I think about outdoor, I keep saying, great things about outdoor, but
that's what we're here for, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But the environments are distinctly different. So those the rules of no more than 7 words are always, because what used to be outdoor is a 48 sheet or a 96 sheet poster, but now we're talking about 20-second copy while people are standing on a concourse, or we've got cross track while people are waiting 3 minutes for a train. So you can have longer form copy. You have got tube car panels as people were sitting on their daily commute in. So you can get away with longer copy. And it is part of the kind of the out of home advertising world. So I think it goes back to what has become the theme of this podcast is respect. And if you respect the audience and what they're doing right there, then you can give the brand the respect by telling a story and taking people on a journey. And the 7 words rule can go out the window because it doesn't, it's not always going to be on a 48 sheet or 96 sheet poster. It could be in a 20-second copy. Yeah, exactly.
Been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Just giving us all something to read while we wait for a tube. And people do stand and read it.
And you see them at about 50 feet. I'm going to go down there and have a read. I'm going to have a little chat with Jack Daniels because I know they're there,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll kind of say I'm really looking forward. Weather needs to be a bit warmer going out.
No copy safari in December.
No, not really. Maybe March. Don't know.
Yeah, January.
No jacket copy safari is a long hashtag.
But no, it's been brilliant meeting you and
too.
chatting. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me. What an honour. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening once again.
And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast if it's your first time listeners. Welcome.
Bye.